Hey guys, how's she cutting? Let's see, can I sort this for a sec? How's all getting on? Let me know if you can hear me and everything okay. Do that obligatory part. For those of you who don't know, I'm Paul Deasy. I'm a character modeler working in the animation and games industries. And I'm just making sure that this is working okay. Seems to be. Yeah. So, if you were here for the last stream, we were making some turkeys in preparation for Christmas, and I made. So let's pull this guy in here. So I was making these two. So this is my own sketch, and we're going to be making I let the chat vote on which one to make first. So we started with this guy, and then we're going to make the female turkey, because turkeys can love too. That's the message that we're going with for the holidays. Hashtag save the turkeys, which makes me sound like I'm definitely eating turkey for Christmas, like just in case you're wondering. So this was the last guy from 2 weeks ago, and there's probably, I'd say at this point, I'll probably, even when I have the other turkey made, I'll probably bring in the two and kind of push and pull them a little bit with the T-pose mesh and get them working a little bit nicer together, and just so that once they're beside each other I can kind of unify them a little bit. So he's still up for changes. So as per usual, we're going to just start from scratch, because I was thinking, do I start with the boy and turn it into the girl? But I didn't kind of want to do that. I always try to take like a very honest approach with the streams or with the any videos or anything I'm making, so you can see everything, the struggles, what does work, what doesn't work, and allows me as well to kind of talk you through the earlier decisions as well. So for this girl, it was a lot of people in the last stream were kind of struggling with whether they were turkeys or not, which I'm gonna say is either saying something about people's understanding of what a turkey looks like with a head that's not on your kitchen table, or my drawing ability. So take from that what you will. Hey Baron, how's it going, brother? So let us know in the comments how he is finishing work. When are you finishing work? What are you doing to prep for the holidays? Have you got your presents in? I'm pretty good, Baron. I'm, as I was saying there, I'm all prepped for Christmas, ready for the holidays, dying for a break for a while. It's gonna be lovely. Maybe play some Cyberpunk. I haven't picked it up yet. Kind of putting it off for a little while. But that'll be a nice something to do while I'm off, to keep me occupied and just chill out. And I'm also going away this weekend to to a place called Kerry in Ireland, which is a beautiful place if you're ever in Ireland. Yeah, got all my shopping done through Amazon, bar like two things. All my Christmas shopping was done on Amazon this year, which is the first time I kind of did that, and could not recommend it more. I blew through my Christmas. I've never been this prepared for Christmas, and it is delightful. So let's start looking in. So I'm just grabbing the whole head shape, more or less. Something to start with. Should be like up here. I'll block in the shape of the beak. Oh, Ferrari helmet, 1995. How's it going? Hopper Sean's in. Hey Sean. Just go to gifts for her on Amazon and get the top sellers for my girlfriend. This year. Yeah, man. That was, I have to say, it was my first year doing that kind of thing. Usually I just wander around town for a while, try find stuff. That was so much handier. Do I have this on the wrong? Yeah. Top sellers from my girlfriend. Not this year. How come not this year? Yeah, keeping it to a, trying to be responsible and keep to a bit of a better budget. I know I definitely need to do that. I'm one of those people, I love Christmas. Like, Christmas is my favourite time of the year. I know a lot of artists seems to be a lot of artists like Halloween, which is understandable. But I'm all about that Christmas cheer. I love a bit of Christmas. And so I get like excited about presents. I love like finding something that I know this person's really gonna like. Not that I always do, but when I find someone like, yes, this is the perfect present. They're gonna love this. Like, I get excited for that. I love that feeling of handing someone something and just watching them, their eyes light up type thing. And I don't have any kids, so I don't get to have that with the kids. So I just do it for everyone else, basically. I do have a 9-year-old brother though. So that helps. It coincides. I have an image question about cloth. Can I send, please? Yeah. Sure, go ahead. Just trying to get a nice clean base shape on that beak. I always like listening to like some music that feels like it sits well with the character or whatever I'm making. I'm listening to a specific theme song from a film, which I don't know if I can say on here. I mean, I'd be guessing, which is a bit dodgy. The film's called... Yeah, you get me? Bit of charades. The film's called... The theme song from that film. And just gets the right kind of... sets the tone in my head to keep me in the right mindset, I guess. I'm faffing too much in this mouth. This is always the trouble with streaming. Not the trouble, but it is a bit... It's definitely more difficult to keep your concentration, I've noticed. Hey Motion Bug, thank you very much. Where should I send your email or Instagram? Oh, Instagram, I guess. There's no other link you can send it through the chat, no? Maybe if someone else knows in the chat they can help with that. But I guess Instagram will do. So I'm gonna have to pull up my Instagram. Okay. Okay, so it's... This is the image. So it's kind of a... This is to do with the drapery of the cloth. Matthias, can you explain how you translate the concept into those forms? Yeah, sure, I'll kind of talk through that as I go. And hello, thanks for joining. So yeah, so the question... Oh, how did I say your name again? No, I can't remember how to pronounce it properly. I'm very disappointed in myself. Is it? Oh yeah, so... No, wait. That still sounds wrong in my head now when I'm trying to say it, and I really don't want to butcher your name. Yulia. Right? Is that right? Welcome back. Thanks for joining. Coincides. I probably will. I don't know. I was actually kind of thinking, like, you know, like, of doing the final render in grayscale. Did I get it right, Yulia? Nice, awesome. I'm gonna have to like make a proper mental note of that. It's hard every 2 weeks. Like, it's easy to forget. Yulia, okay. I'm thinking I'm not sure if I'm gonna paint it or not actually. What I might do is like kind of paint it just in values, just in grayscale. And give it that kind of 50s romance vibe. Do you know what? I should have given him a top hat. It's still open for the discussion. Let's see about a top hat for our Torquay male, who we have not named, who has no name as of yet. God love him. Need to go wider to get the eyes in. So, okay, so I'm just blocking in like the base shape of the head and the beak, and that way, and the most important thing right now is just getting all the forms in. So I want to pull edge there, I think. Just get some difference from the front and the side of the head. Brows will be like up here. I feel very rusty today. I wouldn't mind. I've been using ZBrush all day, but I've been trying to do like this weird hair thing that it's for work, so I can't necessarily really talk too much about it. But been using ZBrush all day, but I haven't really been sculpting. So I'm feeling a bit rusty. Are you Irish? I am Irish. True and true. Looks like the shape of the seagull's head in Finding Nemo. I can't picture what that looks like, but yeah, cool. If you're giving him a top hat, you can give her a feathered scarf. Yeah, that could be nice actually. Give that like 50s New Yorker vibe. What I don't want. So, as I always say, right now, the most important thing to do right now is just get every element in. And once you have everything sitting in more or less place, the right place, then you can start working on the pieces and kind of refine it, which I haven't been doing because I'm faffing too much. Because every shape is relative to the shapes next to it. So I kind of just get stuff in so I have a good idea of what that looks like in its place, without getting too into it. Hey, seen it? How's it going? Rizwan Nation? Rizwan Nation. There we go. How are you, Woody? Thanks for joining. Looking forward to the McGregor fight. Ish, I'm kind of over McGregor. I know you would expect as an Irish person that I would be a massive fan of McGregor, but I think being Irish makes you It makes you either love or hate McGregor, because some people don't like the idea of Irish people being represented by someone who's like McGregor, I guess, because he's a bit, the whole up me own arse type of demeanour is. I think Irish people in general, just across TV, or just across media, I guess, it's always the weirdos that end up. It's always like the extreme personalities make sense, but like it's always the weird people that end up on the TV. It's never just, well, I guess it's never just normal people anyway, in general. But there's not many Irish people that are known across the world that I'm like proud to say. Like I would have said Pierce Brosnan for a while, but then he did like Mamma Mia and stuff. I was like, I don't know about this anymore. No offense to any Mamma Mia fans. So there's like, what's the guy's name that did the TV isn't a place for subtle people. This is the thing. Master Refinery, I'll come back to you now in a second. What's the guy who did the actor from the Assassin's Creed movies, the main guy, what's his name? He's Irish. And Brendan Gleeson is cool, and Liam Neeson are both. Those I'm cool with those. Off the top of my head, that's the only actually well-known Irish people. And to be fair, they're pretty cool. Brendan Gleeson is actually my favourite of all of those people. If you've ever seen if you know who he is, I assume a lot of you, at least most of you, don't know who Brendan Gleeson is. But he has a film, if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out, called The Guard. And that's an Irish film. That is a fantastic film. The police in Ireland are called the Guards. The Guard of Síochána. So when a policeman pulls you over in your car, that's like you refer to them as a guard. It's hello guard. And he in that film he plays a guard, and it's hilarious in the countryside in a place called Galway. And it's a fantastic film and very Irish, very true to Irish kind of sense of humour. There's a mystery finery. Paul, I have a question. How do you sculpt small parts like fingers without the mesh deforming and becoming paper thin? Well, I've never really had the problem where I've never had the problem where doing something small has been paper thin. It's because it's digital as well. Like I can understand that being a problem if it was clay, like having trouble making really small details if it was traditional. Yeah, sorry, I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. Like how, I'm not sure why your work is why you're finding it hard, why it's becoming paper thin on you like that. Okay. Oh, Cillian Murphy! Wow, how did I miss him? He's awesome. Yeah, I love Cillian Murphy. I don't know if you know. His name's gone out of my head now. Robert Sheehan is another guy. he was in Misfits is where I first seen him, and then he was in a TV show set in Dublin called Love Hate, and then the latest thing he was in was that other superhero thing that was like Misfits, although the name's going on my head. I didn't really like it. I was expecting it to be really good. It was on Netflix. The Ape Man. So yeah, I'm just seeing there Mike Bodily, fair play to you, man, saying backface masking helps. Yeah, if you're having maybe like you're using the clay build-up or something on like fingers and stuff, and it's it could be getting front. You could be having it from both sides. Let's say you sculpt that beak with a larger brush, the back side of where you sculpt the form. So you mean like if I have this off, I guess. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Like it's pulling from the opposite side. In which case, if that's exactly what the actual issue is, then Mike Bodley has solved your problem there. Backface masking, which I have up here. Is backface masking under here? It's that long. No. Can't remember now off the top of my head where backface masking is. It's not in draw. If anyone can remember that for me, so I don't have to Google it here, so I can keep working. Drop it into the chat. Where is backface masking? Where is my accent from? It's from Dublin, the same place as Conor McGregor. I actually live very close to where his original family home is. Michael Fassbender. Padraig Kennedy. Yeah, right. The same Padraig Kennedy. Let's double check that now. Michael Fassbender is the very man. He's awesome. I love him as well. So there's a few good Irish. There's a few good Irish well-known people, but I feel like on TV specifically there's a lot of just weirdos. You know, you get Irish people on like Big Brother and stuff like that. I guess it's not American either, but just all that kind of stuff. They're always really cringy. Yeah, it has to be. That or it's the sum with the same name. Is that you, Park? Giant Park. If it is, very much welcome. If it's not, you're still welcome. Of course. But yeah, the brush settings, brush auto masking. There you go. Fair play to you. That's your go-to there. That'll stop you from because it's going through the other side, and it's essentially hitting the normals on the opposite side and pulling it in. If it's working too thin, so that'll be the one. I'm not concentrating on the sculpt at all. Yeah, that'll be the problem, alright. Okay, so basically I need to get some more elements in here so I can start making them work together is the trick. And actually concentrate on what you're doing, that helps also. And keeping it low poly, you can see here everything is low poly. I have got a subdivision on the head, but the idea is not to having that subdivision on the head is just so I can like sculpt in the eye socket a little bit. It's not there for actually sculpting any real detail yet. It's just punching in essentially some eye socket shaped holes so that I can see how the eyes sit. So pull down this more or less in place, and see when it's low poly, I'm just using that. I'm using shift for smooth and then let go of shift to get the alternate version of smooth, and it averages the faces out between each other. It gives you cleaner curves. Cleaner surfaces, but it doesn't work if it's really high poly. It only works because there's too many faces. You'll see shit moving slightly, but it's not going to do much. So you need to really be working in low poly for it to do its thing, and it's important that you do, because that function is really important. Because otherwise you're going to have to fight the surface and manually try to pull and push every surface until it gets smooth, which is not really possible, or at least not practical. Park, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Fair play to you. Paul, I hope you'll talk about the cloth question. I'm on standby. Yeah, maybe I missed it, did I? I seen the image. I missed the question, I think. The last one I can see there is I sent through on Instagram. I'm not sure what the question is. Or did you say that earlier? No, I'm not seeing that. So a furry helmet. You're gonna need to give me that question again, I guess. I don't see it in the chat there, man. So just building up she's smiling, so I'm just building up the cheek. That volume there. Because as we all know, when you smile, your cheeks rise up. So She had a cheeky smile because she knows she's been gawked at. I have a little temple line in there. Don't know if I'll keep that in the sculpt. She needs more cranium, which isn't necessarily attractive, but I do want, well, you know, attractive as a turkey can be. It's just something to give them a bit more of a playful shape. Okay. If I do about cloth and stylized wrinkles, yeah, could possibly do that at some stage. Yeah, I think it can be kind of tricky, you know, on these, like, because this is a relatively short stream. And I wouldn't say, like, I know the kind of fundamental stuff of like creating convincing wrinkles and stuff in clothes, drapery, but it's kind of, yeah, putting that on the stream on its own. I mean, I'm sure people will be interested in it. It just might not be the right place, like, to do it just on the Pixologic stream, because it's only 2 hours. Maybe something I do on my own channel at some stage, or I don't know. I keep meaning to do, hopefully next year. I was meant to do some tutorials and stuff this year, but just the year that's in it, I didn't really get around to it. So hopefully next year I'll get around to making some tutorials. So maybe something on drapery. Although I don't know, there's a lot of stuff out there on drapery, to be honest, already. Even just YouTube videos. But it's a whole beast in itself. Drapery is no easy task. Like, I would say, you know, there's the fundamental things. It's funny, I'm talking about this now on a character that has no clothes, but you know, you have anchor points. Don't if you're doing wrinkles on clothes, just don't add wrinkles for the sake of wrinkles wherever. They have to have some reason. So where can you see? Yeah, so here, so like the wrinkles coming from my shoulder, you can see there if I pull my shoulder out, like there's wrinkles coming from here. This is the anchor point. This is where the cloth is essentially hanging from, and then it's getting pulled towards this direction. So if you pull a cloth between two directions, you're going to get a crease there. Or if it's hanging from one, or it's just hanging, so you're going to get folds coming down from there. My approach to wrinkles is usually very much a less is more approach. I don't like to go hell for leather on doing like tons and tons of wrinkles. I don't remember how I did this last time. Yeah, so there's you kind of want to do, like, if you're learning how to do like drapery and stuff, you almost, it's a whole course in itself. Almost, there's a great let me see here. So one I did quite a while ago. I bought quite a while ago. That was good. Here we go. So it's called ZBrush Cloths and Drapery Course. You can buy it on ArtStation. It's by Pablo Muniz. So I have that, and that's quite good. That's really good. So I definitely recommend that if you're looking into, and it goes through all those kind of fundamental type stuff, and gives you examples, and gives you get a ZBrush file with it, so you can see the file itself, and you get some brushes and all sorts of alphas, loads of stuff with it, and it's not expensive. So let's see. I can't see how much it was because I already paid for it. Does it say? No. No. But you know, it wasn't a huge amount, so I'd recommend that. So Ofri Helmet. Yeah, I didn't see your question, mate. You need to. I seen your image, but I didn't see any question. So you need to let me know what the question is. Can you share the link, the drapery course? Sure. There it is there. So 45, there you go. Thanks, Vintage Motors. $45. And yeah, for those of you who don't know Pablo Muniz, he's more than trustworthy. He's a really good sculptor. Let me see here. Alright, let's just cut this thing. Too much faffing. Where did that work? Alright. Ah, shit. There we go. Alright, so I've just cut these out, so I just want this one and this one. Essentially cut the back out because I don't need the back. So delete hidden and just group split. Or actually, what could be better? It doesn't matter. So just remesh these, and then we can extrude in and get the thickness, and then later we can dynamesh them back together. But for now, it'll make it easier to control the shaping, and so we can actually. Get rid of that. Let's try that. Just want a loop that goes around the edge. Trying to avoid this. So if I want the deformation, there you go. No, I think that's probably fine there. And now this is too much. We're going to have to kill a lot of this beak because it's too long. A lot of the lower beak. But we can just cut it off. Yeah, see, I don't like that. It's because it's seeing tiny little awkward edges and stuff. And it's trying to get them. It's trying to be good to us. It's trying to get in those little tiny details. But it doesn't have the... There you go. So you have to go up higher in poly count. Let's just get rid of, oh. It's a slice. I don't remember this being such a pain last week or 2 weeks ago. Okay. Shut up, man. Slide that up there. Shut up, man. I'm just going to get these to kind of meet up more or less. Use the Z modeler to extrude them. So extrude in a bit. Just shrink. So there you go. Gets this most of the way in. So same trick with the eyes as last week, or the last week. So use the topology brush. Oh, let's just make sure. Could we maybe do with these a little bit? Just work into this a little bit more. These bigger. Sit them further back in. If they're too small, you get too much curvature in the eye, so it's important to make them big enough so you don't get like bug eye look. So now I can just draw on the topology I need for my eyelid. Bring it down to 0, the draw size, tap it, and it'll give me a plane. Depending on your draw size is how thick the geo will come out. So if you have a draw size at 0, there's no thickness at all. If you have it all the way up, then it will be super thick. I think we'll just leave it, tuck it in there. And now I can just use masked edge loop complete. And I can control the outer edge. Can you 3D print a model after using ZBrush? You can indeed. can see just there, that's a 3D printer there behind me, and that's the only software that I use other than the slicing software is ZBrush to do prints. I'm waiting on grey resin at the moment because all I got was clear with this one, unfortunately. So you can, when I get that, you'll be able to see this stuff better. Actually, you know what? There, that's better. So that is a dodgy print because it's clear and I didn't wash it properly, because it was like a test essentially. So, but when I get grey resin in, I'll be able to do it there. But you can kind of, that's straight out of ZBrush and into just a slicing software to hollow it and add the brackets, add the supports. You can see it's all cloudy and all because I didn't wash it properly. I used brake fluid. But yeah, like I think in grey, like it would, like the detail is really nice. It's a really good printer, to be fair. It's a Photon Mono X by Anycubic. It's a really good printer. But all you need to do something like that is ZBrush and then your slicing software to get the actual file to the printer. You don't even need that sometimes. You could take a print, although yeah, the slicing software is what you use for like building the supports and all. That will automatically build the supports and stuff, so you don't have to make them in ZBrush. But yeah, ZBrush is one of the main programs people use for 3D printing, if not the main one. A lot of jewelers and everything use it. Make jewelry and then you print it and cast it in gold or silver or whatever. Looks like a thumb with a face. Alright. Next eyelid. I'll show you how you can make eyelashes. Fairly handy out of this as well. You can do it this way, I'll tell you what. Just for the sake of it being in the right direction. Do it a bit higher than it should be. So here you can see if the thickness is, if the draw size is up here and I click, you get thickness. Undo that, put the draw size down to the minimum. I just get a plane. I just want the plane. Now I can just use mask. Mask the edge. I've only got a couple of polys, so the fact that I've only got a couple of polys again comes down to being clean. I can just hit smooth. And I'll get a nice smooth transition. Rather than having a load of polys and have to manually make a smooth curve myself. We're already an hour. Right. Hey, Flipo. See, I'm being a little bit lazy here because I could go in and delete a bunch of these, or I could Z-remesh lower. But you can see there, I have to be more careful in order to get that curve and not have it, you know. See, if I start doing this, obviously I'm exaggerating there slightly, but you get little lumps and bumps which you don't want. Unless of course you do, but they should be intentional, is the idea. Shouldn't be lumps and bumps because you couldn't control it, but it should be, you know, don't let the software, don't let the tool dictate what it should look like. Is the idea. Okay, let's do the lashes. And make this. It's a bit more dynamic shape. So just trying to give the eyelids some space, because I want to be able to use them as, like, you know, especially on the girl, as like a defining feature. So if I just push that eye socket in a little bit more, just to get, it just gives them a little bit more space to be able to more easily see them literally, so they read better. I kind of want them to be like longer. Leave it there for now. Where is that? So I have this little, see this? I have a little makeup mirror. And that's literally like, I will sit here like checking to see like what happens when I like raise my brows or, you know, pull them in or do like an angry face or whatever. Especially when I'm doing blend shapes. But it's also handy just for working on just whatever expressions in your sculpt. And I want her to have a very kind of happy head in her, because, you know, she's not letting on, but she knows that he's looking at her and she likes him. So she's happy. She's chuffed with herself. We're getting a bit messy there with the topo. Let's mask this, flip it. Oh, we've got, okay. Easy peasy, delete poly loop. And then we'll mask this. Put everything back in its rightful place, so everything isn't getting skewed and warped everywhere. Insert, hold Alt, no, delete. So I usually have insert in all the time, so I can just add and then delete faces whenever I want. I have the Z modeler binded to Control Shift Alt and S. That way I can just jump to it whenever I need it. Which, because of my workflow, I need it like pretty often. Very often, some might even say. Mystery finery. Would you use the blur brush much if you were working on realistic looking characters? The blur brush? No, I can say no, because do you mean the smooth brush? Like what do you mean by the blur brush? Explain that one for me and I'll see, but maybe I just don't know that one. It's not something I've used. And we thought the mirror was purely for vanity's sake. It's only half for vanity's sake, Doug. It's actually the camera that you are seeing me through is sitting directly on another makeup mirror. I just rob makeup mirrors whenever I get the chance, because they even for bringing them into the studio, like the one that the camera's sitting on is the one I always had at home. This one is what I usually had in the studio, but of course not in the studio at the moment. the one in shift button. Okay, so that's this smooth. Yeah. So make do some definition. Would I use it? Would you use it much if you were using realistic characters? I mean, yeah. Like sometimes you might do some, for example, you might do some like surface detail, and like you're doing all these little, you know, vein or pore detail or whatever the case may be, and then in certain areas you just want to pull it back a little bit, you know, then you would, yeah. That's one reason you might use. There's loads of it. Like the smooth brush is one of the staple brushes, along with like Move, Clay Build Up, Damien Standard, you know, those kind of brushes. Like smooth is right there with them as the most important ones. Alright, I feel like I want to change how I've approached this slightly. Let's see, like, can I get out here a little bit more? So you can see like I'm going along here with the Damien Standard, but I'm not, the intention is not to leave some hard edge there. Not that it's necessarily wrong, but I'm more just drawing a landmark there. And concave on the inside, and I like to add some of that meat to the outside of the eye. Because when you're rendering something, something I find very appealing is how edges and volumes interact with each other under light. So you get like your edge along here, and then up here is like convex, and then down here is concave, and down here is convex. So you get this like light cast across this, and then it hits this edge, and then you get this nice gradient where the surface turns more gradually. So I'm thinking about the actual thinking about how the surface is going to kind of react to light. In there, so she really feels like she's smiling. Now this is getting a little bit, this feels like a little bit bumpy or something, so I'm just gonna throw the smooth in there to get rid of that a little bit. Pull back that brow too a little. Just because this is our temple, right? So it's just touching here with the pinch, just to get a little bit of a turn. But making sure that I don't flatten anything. So again, I get that like curve, and then it hits the edge that I've pinched, and then into another curve, so the light, then you get a gradient along that curve, and then you get a plane change, and then you get a gradient off the curve, and it's nicer because if you have just two flat, if everything is just flat edges and flat, then light hits a flat surface like equally, you know what I mean, because it's all at the same angle. So it's much more equal, where if you have a gradient, you'll get, if you have a curve, then you'll get a gradient. Which is more what I want to go for. But again, like you'll see lots of work of these like more plainer styles as well, which feeds into almost like a comic-y type style. So it's like when I say I'm doing that here because of the style that I'm doing this in, but that's not to say that doing a hard edge and more plainer surfaces, like flatter surfaces, is wrong, because it most certainly isn't. It just depends on your intention. Generally I don't go super planar because it doesn't feel right for me against like more wholesome type characters, I guess. It's very much like cool comic book character type characters that fit it better. If you think you like your like your style should kind of be like, realistically, if you're working on a project, then really your style should be another tool that is used to sell the feeling of the project. So if you're going for something really wholesome and really sweet and very human emotional story, then going like super like harsh in your shapes is not necessarily the way to go about it. Although it depends, because there's a lot of ways to do that. But if you're going with something more, and it works the other way around, if you're going with something like these like cool superhero characters and stuff, and you make everything like all rounded and really harmless looking, then like you're gonna have to, obviously the context and your story and stuff is gonna sell it as well, but like really everything, when you're putting a project together, everything should be to serve the look and feel of what you're making. You don't want to be doing stuff despite the purpose of your, whether it be like your film or your just character or whatever. So I'm just extruding them in. I have to take out the crease. I don't like using the creases because I forget they're there. You subdivide it with the crease, it'll keep it. And, I just don't like it. I prefer to have the topology. As intended. Is now I can go and I can duplicate these. I can just grab that. And let me see. I'm showing you this, but I don't know if it'll actually really be the appropriate way to do this particular character's eyelashes, but So that's one way you can do eyelashes real quick when you're making eyes like that. But it doesn't really necessarily work for what we want here. Let's pull that back in. Ah, the fuck Anzan is back. Our old buddy. The Fu Kanzan. My apologies. I'm asking you as a fresh-faced ZBrush. Have you discovered a technique or tool that made you think, I wish I knew this when I started using ZBrush? Technique. Yeah, the Z modeler. The Z modeler. Like I'm showing you here, the using the topology more, and not like, you know, like even if I was making clothing, I'd make like I'd put like a cube in, squash it and push it all over the place. I think it'd be a mess, rather than using a plane and using topology and using the Z modeler to add and take out loops and that kind of thing. So yeah, the Z modeler is a great tool. I'm trying to think how I'm going to do this now. I might have to just get in there and just get messy and sculpt it, but doing that kind of takes longer generally. No, I don't want to delete them. Extrude them. And increase, oh sorry, increase. The snake hook brush, or the, where's that character, or the let's make this black. Snake hook brush, or the Ashley Adams brush, as people call it as well. One of our faves. Subdivisions, of course. Ah, look, I did exactly what we said about earlier. No, I didn't actually. Just because of the way I pulled it, okay. So this generally is how I do not like to sculpt. But we can get it into basically the shape and then refine. What is that doing? Why did you do that? Ah. What? Yeah, this way. I feel like the chair's not sitting upright. Let me fix myself here. Okay. Can you introduce yourself for those who don't know you? Did you have famous projects before? Yeah, sure. I kind of introduced myself at the beginning, but so I'm Paul Deasy, as the video, as the title says, but I'm a character artist, 3D character artist in the animation industry and games industry. Do I have famous projects I worked on? Well, I've worked on some stuff that's like, some stuff is coming to Netflix, some stuff like I've worked with like some big companies like Epic Games and some studios and like some pretty decent studios like LA, and I've worked with like Netflix, Disney, Amazon, Nickelodeon. I don't know if that's an English thing, or yeah, right? Is that American too? I don't know. But I've yet to work for. I'm still in Ireland, so I've yet to go over to like LA, and really want to go over to LA and apply for like, you know, like the DreamWorks and Disney and Netflix and stuff. That'd be a nice experience. I guess the last big project I did was one with Netflix and Ludacris, as in the rapper Ludacris. It's announced now. It's called Karma's World. It's like a kids thing, TV show. That was cool. I got to meet Ludacris and stuff. Came over to my desk, shook my hand, started taking pictures of my screen and stuff. That was fun. My screen brightness makes it look like you're working in the dark. Is that your personal choice, or is just how it's looking to me? My screen is in the camera, because it is dark where I am right now. Like, it's 9:30 at night where I am. Oh, the canvas, I guess. That looks dark. Do you want me to brighten the background up? Let me see. That's a bit too bright. Is that a bit better? Yeah, I was thinking the UI, but Doug, you were saying it looks like I'm working in the dark. So that made me think not ZBrush, but me. No, okay, cool. Just curious if I've seen it being dark or if my monitor was off. Alright, cool. No worries. Well, let me know. No, I mean, if it's awkward to see or anything, if it's tricky to make out what I'm doing or anything like that, I don't want that. So do let me know. And yeah, so they're the kind of more recent stuff I've done. But yeah, like I said, I haven't gotten over to LA yet. The plan is to go over to LA and apply for some studios over there. I would love to work for Disney for a while. I think just because like I'm really enjoying their films more and more recently, and as well the people then that work there, there's some serious talent working there. You know, you can learn from people. That's probably the biggest thing. And then the silly side is just the fact that, like, you know, so many Disney films that kind of were such a big part of my childhood and that. But yeah, I would say I would focus more so on animation than games. I like games, but I prefer working in the animation industry, personally. And yes, I have an art station. Oh, I can show it there now. Actually, I can show. There's the link tree / Paul Deasy. That's all my social media stuff, including ArtStation. Ibrahim, yeah, how's it going, buddy? Julia, speaking of Disney, have you seen the trailer for Soul? It's going to be released this Christmas and it looks absolutely amazing. Yeah, it looks great. Really nice. Really looking forward to seeing that. For me, I'm really looking forward to Raya and the... Is it... Raya and the Lost Dragon, right? Last Dragon, anyway. I was questioning myself and I was right too. Raya and the Last Dragon. Really looking forward to that because it feels a step grittier than Disney usually do. So I'm really excited to see what that's like. Would have loved to have worked on that. Characters and stuff look really cool. They did a phenomenal job on that one. It seems. I haven't seen it yet, obviously. You feel I liked Deadeye and Nomad. Thank you. Both of which are my own designs, so I'm really happy to hear that. Some of the characters in my portfolio are from my own designs, and then some are just from other artists. And both of those are mine, so very happy to hear that you like those ones. Alright. Not happy with how those are shaped. See, this is why I'm not a massive fan of like working in like higher poly. But for the sake of time here, we're just knocking them in. See, I can't let it go. Has to be right. Okay. More or less. JR, are there any art styles you aren't used to doing but want to dive into? Yeah, I suppose so. Like, there's a little bit, like when I started doing ZBrush, I liked doing that kind of more style, or more kind of more comic book level detail than, you know, stylized animation. And I wouldn't mind doing a little bit of that again, just for fun. I do sometimes, like I guess like the gangster and or the detective, what's it? So I call him Roddy. Roddy in my portfolio is heading in that direction kind of, and then same with Voldemort that I did is that kind of. Now she's starting to look like a character, although we were a lot slower this week than the last one, unfortunately, but sure. Happens. Yeah, so yeah, I like doing that kind of style too, a little bit. You know, something with a little bit more detail. Where with these characters, with the more stylized characters, I'm more thinking like, okay, what details can I get rid of? You know what I mean? It's more about economy of detail. No detail that's not required. Or well, you know, within reason, I guess. Alex F1, how's it going? I'm not doing too bad. Let's see. I know people like seeing this last week. I'm going to show you this real quick again, how to just paint some eyes in real quick. So I've got like, I'll go 6 subdivisions so that the poly paint doesn't become pixelated or anything. Let's back up a little bit there. Yeah, it's actually pretty. Yeah. So, okay, yeah, sorry. First things first. Eyes aren't white. Actually, even a little bit less. Is that Batman? How did you guess? I assume you are talking about... Yeah, or is there a Batman in the background? Because there definitely could be. That's your eyesight if you can see that, but yeah. Is it tough finding a job as a character artist? There's so many of us. I'm gonna... that's tricky, because, I mean, it depends on your level. You know, I wouldn't say, like, you don't have to be some incredible artist or anything close to just get a job, you know. To get a job in, like, to get a job in a really big studio on a big project, kind of, maybe, but even then, not necessarily. Yeah, it really depends on your level. If you know, you need to be ready. You need to have enough knowledge there that you can make a character and get it to a decent level. And sometimes you won't, you know, sometimes you won't get it all the way there. Oftentimes you won't get it all the way there, but you know, if you can get close enough that you could be hired as a junior, then yeah, so not necessarily, no. But for these eyes, so you can see there, I just, the whole thing, like a shade of like reddish, like a reddish tint, and then go up to white, and I just got a bit of white in the middle, around where the pupil's going to be, so it gets brighter towards the center. And then let's say this chicken's eyes. Yeah, let's go. So, okay, so brown will be like more or less. Well, chickens' heads aren't brown; they're like all sorts of mad colors. Let's go like. It's over here somewhere. And we'll darken this. So we've got our hue, which is over this like teal color. Fill that. Like this now. Just shrink that mask a little bit. Oh, the paintbrush. And I'm just tapping that in a little bit more, but tapping it in towards the bottom. And then kind of brighter there, because that's where the pupil's going to be. So that'll be in the middle of that, so it'll be a bit brighter around the outside of that pupil. And here, and I'll just decrease the focal shift. Just have like a and then fill it with the toy plastic material. There you go. This is a really quick way to do some simple eyes. Obviously you can go all sorts of ways of it, stylising it and stylising the colours or whatever. But it's a quick way. Just it's I think it's important just to give your character pupils kind of early on. because they feel alive then. Alright, the eyebrows need work. She looks like dead-eyed straight. She looks terrified. Some creep is staring at her. Like in my head, I have like this whole epic story about these two turkeys that meet and fall in love right now, to the tune of the Up theme song. What a jam. Do you retopologize the finished model in ZBrush and bake it in Maya? Just curious. No, generally not. When I do retopology, I generally do it in Maya. I don't do retopology in ZBrush. In ZBrush, all I'm looking for with ZBrush is, I say all, like it's no big deal, like is the visual look of like the sculpt. I really like, I enjoyed the sculpt in ZBrush. After that, when I get into the technical stuff, I get out of ZBrush and go over to Maya, and up till blend, and then through the retopology I'll do all that, and then when I get to blend shapes, then I'll start introducing ZBrush again, because you know, blend shapes have it, or you gotta get kind of artistic with blend shapes, because again, they, you know, they got like organic face shapes. So generally I'll like make blend shapes in Maya, and then bring a lot of them into ZBrush, and like, you know, give them that more fleshy feel, get that kind of last 10% out of them, sometimes more. To make sure it's all they're looking as good as possible. But yeah, so I wouldn't do no, so I don't use ZBrush for retopology. I use it for sculpting. But I even, you know, a lot of people even start with base meshes and stuff, which I don't. I never really start with a base mesh. I don't like starting with base meshes. I think they influence. I was thinking of making a base mesh, but if I was to make a base mesh, it would just be a bunch of spheres in the place of, like, you'd have a sphere where the chest should be, sphere for like the head, you know, actual literal primitives in place of where the different parts should be, because at least then a primitive is so far from the final shape that you want it to be, that, because what I don't want to do is like make something that's already appealing. It's a base mesh that has appealing shapes in it, and then I open that up, and now I keep leaving a bunch of those shapes in there, so everything starts to look like my base mesh. Or, you know, if I'm using someone else's base mesh, everything starts to look like their base mesh. Or even if it's not looking like their base mesh, the initial style is putting me in such a mindset that I'm going in a specific direction because I've started from that point. You know, so I like to I just start from a sphere every time. But yeah, like I said, I was thinking of making a base mesh of just primitives that can't influence the final product. There you go, Sean. Yeah, so I started with a base mesh and had to fight the whole time with it. I think I wouldn't be a big advocate of using base meshes. I think as well, just starting from scratch every time. Like, you think, right, so you have two artists, one that uses base meshes and one that doesn't. And so that one that doesn't has to start from scratch every single time. So imagine, like, 4 years down the line, you've got one person who started from a base mesh every time, and then you've got this other person who literally started from a sphere and built the body every single time. Like, which artist is gonna have learned more? You know, so just saying. And as well, you can say, yeah, but speed, but like, the longer you do that, you just start from scratch every time, you're gonna get really fast at building up those base shapes. So for better or for worse, I ain't using base meshes. Alright. Oh, I'm nearly out of time. I think I got like the whole head and the thing done and everything on the last one. Sorry guys, didn't get quite as far this week. So like I said, I was feeling a bit rusty today, I think. I literally probably got twice the work done last week. I don't know why. Where? Sorry. Oh no, what do I want to do? Not sure what. I think I think the last while I've been thinking really, it's crossed my mind because I'm noticing, like, geez, I'm much slower this week. I think I really need, this Christmas break. I'm really looking forward to it. I just need to not sculpt for like a couple of days and kind of reset my batteries. Especially just because not that, like, I choose to do it, I'm not sure I'll feel sorry for me kind of thing, just I'm sure some of you guys have experienced it yourselves, where you're sculpting every single day for hours a day, for months, and after a while it's just like, alright, there is definitely such a thing as too much of a good thing. You have to be careful with that as well, because you don't want to, like, you don't want to start not enjoying what you're doing. But definitely I'm feeling like lately I just, for a change of pace, I just want to, procrastinate a little bit more, play some games and not worry. Eventually you start to get like anxiety if you're not working. Burnouts are the worst, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Devay, she is fine. It's a sexy turkey. It's getting closer. I think we're all going a little slower. Yeah, that's it. You get a prison gate fever. Have you ever heard of that? Prison gate fever is like, supposedly when prisoners, like some prisoners that are serving like 7-8 years or more or whatever, and like 2 weeks before they they behave well or whatever, and then 2 weeks before they are told that 2 weeks before they're supposed to get released, they try to escape and they end up getting more time because they get so close, or they get so worked up, they just can't help it and they need to get out, and then they end up doing something stupid. Hey, brush mechanic. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to chilling out. I got my new PC, so I'm gonna try it out with some games. I tried it out with The Witcher, and oh my god, just everything on ultra, and it just runs smooth as butter. So I'm gonna try out Cyberpunk over the holidays, and hopefully, because I always end up finding after Christmas specifically, by the end of it I need a break from all the visiting and all that type of stuff, and I don't want to do that again this year. I just want to enjoy, just actually take a break at Christmas, and enjoy it, because it's been a while since I've had a proper break. I can't remember the last time I had like a week off. Not this year anyway. Most I've taken is like a day or two off. I kind of wanted to, the fact that everything this year, I was like, no, I'm just gonna like knuckle down. Which is good, but now I'm done. I need some time. Cheers to Vay. It's a double sided, yeah. So she's going to be seen from this angle. And we're going to turn her eyes. We do that now. Need to auto group. Turn off symmetry. Let's go all the way and see. It should be like up here. Maybe over here in like the background. Like, damn. Dougie, thanks for joining, brother. Have a good one. And enjoy your holidays. Happy Christmas and all that crack. Or whatever it is that you celebrate. So that's going to be something like the final render. Although she won't be that close. Render on him. Is that going to get rid of her now? I can't remember. Yeah, it is. If I do that. Okay, that's interesting. So I do it. Yeah, anyway, that's gonna be kind of the idea. Just realising I have to straighten his eyes more. Let's put him... No, anyway, yeah. It's gonna be something like that in the end, but I gotta bring... I'll probably like lengthen his neck, I think, a little bit more. Finish her off, give her like the bit from her beak down the front and stuff. Add in like these kind of details on her, and then I can push it all back and have them like, you know, sit in the same scene and do a nice render on Arnold and stuff. Doing a Christmassy render. I even do some snow or something like that, you know what I mean? Do like a I don't know, yeah, maybe some sort of bustling background a little bit, you know, something blurry, something not too, you know, involved, but it could be fun. And yeah, hashtag turkey love. I have one quick last run through the comments here. It's good to recharge the creative batteries. Absolutely. You need to take time. It's super important. And I've probably not done enough of that this year, and it's hitting hard now. Yo, Mr. Paul. Are the eyes round? Jimmy Animal. Are the eyes are round? Yeah. I always try to keep the eyes as spheres. It's like I feel like I'm cheating if I don't. Even in animation, I know you don't actually necessarily, because you can rig eyes to skew and they still work and stuff, but I still like, when I started my first job in the industry and they were like, oh no, you have to make sure that the eyes are round, and that just sank in. It's something I always do now. The eyes are round though, is the short answer. Sarah Leff, welcome. Well, it's a bit late, but better late than never, says you. Papa Sean, being a pleasure, man. It's the first time I've actually watched the stream and sculpted at the same time. Nice. That's what I like. I like the idea of people just working alongside. We're keeping each other company. Who is the artist of the concept? I am. I did the sketch as well. I usually try to do that. I do a lot of the concepts myself. I'd always say, obviously, of course, if I didn't. Thank you, but they intersect, right? Well, they're inside the head, obviously, but yeah, that would be, I'd fix that later. If I was doing topology, which I'm not on these guys because they're just sculpts. So yeah, glad you like them, guys, and I'll wrap it up there, I guess. So enjoy your holidays. I can throw my link tree in again there, I guess. This is my last stream for this year. I'm not sure the date. Here's my link tree. Throw that in there for you. And all my ArtStation, all that stuff is there. So if you want to find that, and I'll post this over Christmas. So this is the last thing I'll do. I'll try get these done, get them rendered, and post this over the Christmas, and hopefully you guys like it and you enjoy your holidays and your Christmas dinner or whatever you have, and I know I will. So it's been a pleasure, guys, and I'll catch you next year. Fingers crossed it's a better one, says you.